What's going on, guys? It's Pete Nova from the Face Off Sports Network. I am back with my Week 14 defensive streamers to target to help you win your fantasy football matchups. This is a big week, another bye Mageddon. Tons of teams are out on buys, good defenses, and so it's going to be pivotal that we pick the right defenses to stream this week. I put a lot of effort and research into these, and I like all three. There are teams right now vying for a playoff spot in fantasy football as well as the NFL. You have teams that are playing for seeding, looking for that maybe a first round bye, and then you have teams that are maybe knocked out of the playoffs in fantasy that are trying to play spoiler. Respect to those teams, but this is our last week, and then we get the fantasy football playoffs. What we've been waiting for. Last week we had another successful week, guys. We had the New York Jets and the Dallas Cowboys. Both teams finished second and third on the week in scoring, and this continues our streak of having a defense that's 25% owned or less finish inside the top 9 every single week this year. And then we've had a defense finish inside the top 7, 12 out of 13 weeks. So we're looking to keep things rolling. If you are new, thank you for joining us. Let's win some matchups and get you guys into the playoffs if you aren't already. And let's just jump right into it. My first defense to stream is going to be the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Seattle Seahawks. This is a defense that we picked 2 weeks ago in this same matchup. They finished sixth in terms of points scored on the week, and that was when they were away. We get them here at home, and look, Seattle is going to be traveling a second week. They were on the East Coast in New York. They just scraped out a win against them, but it was a ugly game, and now they're going away to Arizona in a divisional matchup where Seattle took the first one. Arizona is vying for for a playoff spot and the division, and right now Arizona's coming off a loss against Minnesota where their defense played well. They need a win, and Seattle's team in general has just been super messy, but they're eking out wins. But when we look at this game, we get a home team with a medium point total. Arizona's 19.5% owned across fantasy formats. And like I said, last time they played Seattle, they finished sixth in points on the week. They sacked Geno Smith 5 times the last time they played against each other. And, in the last 5 weeks, Seattle is second in terms of points allowed to opposing defenses in fantasy football at 9.5 per game, just below the Titans. That is not great company if you're the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle's passing 67% of the time, which is third in the NFL, and Arizona's sixth in dropback EPA. When you take a look here where Arizona is since week 7, they're sixth in dropback EPA, and you can see them here on this chart. I mean, their defense has been playing better and better over the last few weeks, and Budda Baker has been a big part of that. He's probably in the top 10 in defensive player of the year conversations, but Seattle's also, their offense is 12th worst in EPA since week 7. So, this is an offense that's played very sloppy, a lot of turnovers, giving up a lot of pressure. And I just think, this is going to be a scrappy game. There wasn't a lot of points in Seattle last time. And I just think Arizona right now is the better defense. So I'm going to ride with Arizona. My second defense on the week is going to be the Saints taking on the New York Giants, 16.5% owned, and the Saints are at home. All three of our defenses today that we cover are all home teams, which is what we love when it comes to targeting defenses. We love taking the home teams. It's a low point total too, which is what we love as well. 40.5 5 points implied on the week per Vegas. And look, we're getting another either Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito. I'm going to bank on it being Drew Lock. He looked better, but there's also some incentives. So in Drew Lock's deal, so maybe they just go to Tommy DeVito just because, they're trying to avoid paying more money in a lost season. But, when you look at the games that Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito have played, the Giants are third worst in EPA. And, it's just been an ugly year for this offense. Their offensive line has given up 10 sacks in the last 2 weeks, which in which Tommy DeVito and Drew Lock has played. Drew Lock got sacked 6 times last week. And the Saints defense has been better. I mean, they're not phenomenal, but the last 3 weeks, they've held the Falcons to 17 points, the Browns to 14 points, and the Rams just this past week to 21 points. This is more of a system play. We get a really low point total against a really bad offense at home. And the only thing that worries me about this game is really the Giants' rush offense. That is probably the biggest strength of their team, but Tyrone Tracy has a fumbling issue right now, and there's a chance he maybe loses snaps to Devin Singletary. I don't know, but at this point, this is just a really bad offense. So I really like the Saints. We're going in order here from my favorite to my least favorite. The last play is going to be the Miami Dolphins taking on the New York Jets at home, 20.6% rostered across fantasy formats. We get a home team. We get a medium point total here. Dolphins defense is 15th in EPA since week 7, middle of the pack. Jets offense is 11th in EPA since week 7. So we get an average defense who's been playing better against a below average offense right now at this rate. Dolphins defense is allowing the 6th most yards per game right now. And like I said, when you look at them since week 7, they're 15th in EPA in passing and rush defense combined. We're not expecting a lot of sacks in this game. Middle of the pack when it comes to pressure rate, the Dolphins are. And the Jets have been really good at limiting pressure. Overall, this is really a system play as well. Jets have lost 8 straight against the Dolphins. They haven't put up a lot of points. And, this is just a team overall that's just – I don't know what to make of the Jets right now. They're going to be traveling to the Miami, which has been the boogeyman for them. They haven't scored a lot of points in games that they've played in Miami the last few years, and there's Breece Hall's banged up right now. I don't know what to make of that situation. It's just this is not a play I love, but with all the buys that we have this week, this feels like a decent floor, maybe like an average week, probably 5, 6, 7 points, depending on your league format. If a top defense is usually score 10, I would say they're probably middle of the pack, 5, 6. But when we're talking streamers with all these defenses on a buy, and we always look to find somebody that's 25% owned or less, they make the cut here just because, again, there's not a lot of options for people this week due to all of the buys. So Dolphins aren't. I'm not in love with them, but they're a floor play in my opinion. But that's going to do it for me, guys. If you have questions, drop them below. I'm going to drop my defensive rankings probably tomorrow. That video will come out. I'm probably going to do also like playoff rankings as well. That'll drop this week as well. And also, if you haven't looked, check out my stashes for the playoffs. That went out a couple weeks ago. And thank you so much for your support. If you have questions, drop them in the video section below. And if you haven't hit subscribe, make sure you do so. Hit that bell icon. But good luck this week, and I'll see you guys next time.